Okay, Albert Lee, College Trig. Last week, week 8, and so we're bringing to you here. Going to be nice and short. Hopefully, short lesson is time for this week. So, my kids are going kind of crazy right now. So, if you hear some noise in the background, please don't worry too much. So far, when you've been plotting points, you've always been using rectangular form. Suppose you were given the coordinate 3 or -3, 3. That would mean that you would go, back 3 units and up 3 units, so on and so forth. Okay, like that. But there's another way that you can also plot, and that's by using what we call polar form. Okay, using polar form. The polar form gives a radius and a theta value. Radius and a theta value. And you actually already know how to do this. The way that you come up with the radius is you do the square root of x squared plus y squared. So we've been doing square root of a squared plus b squared. Same thing, just x squared plus y squared. For the example we're going to give you, -3 didn't kind of fall in line with that graph that you see there. I'm going to give you kind of a different option here in a second after I show you an example of what actually polar form would be. So suppose you had a polar form of 2 and 3 pi over 4. So 2 is going to be the radius, and 3 pi over 4 is going to be the angle. Now, all of you know that 3 pi over 4 is 135 degrees, so that rotates me to about this area right there, and I go 2 units in that direction. So that would be the coordinate for 2 and 3 pi over 4, okay? So if we want to take a point, say, instead of -3, 3, let's say I do a coordinate of, I don't know. We'll try, we'll make it very similar. We'll do a negative, or we'll go +1, or we'll go +2, -2. Okay, there we go. +2, -2. Okay, you know that you would go over 2 and you would go down 2 and you'd be somewhere right around there. Okay, well, if you want to put that into polar form, the way that we find the r value is we do the square root of x squared plus y squared. So that would be the square root of 4 plus 4 is 8, so the square root of 8, or 2 roots of 2. And then in order to find theta, what you would do is you would set up tangent of theta is equal to b divided by a. And that's how we find tangent. Well, if you take b divided by a, you can see the tangent of theta is equal to -1. Whereas tangent negative, it's in the first quadrant and in the fourth quadrant. Whereas tangent equal to 1, that's a 45-degree angle. So 45-degree angle down here, that would be 315 degrees, or 7 pi over 4 if we put it into radians. So that means that the coordinate 2 roots of 2, 7 pi over 4, is the same thing as 2, -2. This is what we call rectangular form. This is what we call polar form. That's polar form, that's rectangular form. Now, just like if you were to plot them, you go over 2 and down 2, you'd end up right about here, okay? And if you look at this guy right here, 7 pi over 4, that would bring you to 315 degrees, so right along this line, and then you'd go 2 roots of 2, which is 2.8, or a little bit more than 2, so you can see you end up at the same spot, okay? So that's a formula, formulas that you already know. Turns out that sometimes instead of going from rectangular to polar, we like to go from polar to rectangular. So we'll take that very similar example that we did up above. We'll take this 2, 3 pi over 4, and what we'll do is we will put it into rectangular form. We'll see what does it look like in rectangular form. Well, the way that we compute that is the x value is equal to your radius times the cosine of theta, and your y value is equal to the radius times the sine of theta. And we can show you why all that works out. The truth is that you've already seen these examples before. It just falls in line with the other stuff we've been doing. So your radius is 2 times the cosine of 3 pi over 4. And here your radius is 2 times the sine of 3 pi over 4. Well, in order to find the sine and the cosine of 3 pi over 4, I have to be able to find, the terminal point value. So, 3 pi over 4 like that coordinate is going to be negative root of 2 over 2 and positive root of 2 over 2. So this becomes 2 times negative root of 2 over 2, and this becomes 2 times root of 2 over 2. You can see when you do that, the 2's cancel, and we get negative root of 2, and we get positive root of 2, or negative root of 2, positive root of 2. So it turns out that this polar form is the exact same as this rectangular form, that those are in fact the same. And if you were to plot 2 and 3 pi over 4, which is right here, think if you were to plot this, okay? 1.41 and 1.41. You go back 1.4 units and up 1.4 units, that brings you right to the same spot, okay? So, yeah, some useful formulas. That's really the last little bit of information that we want to cover for this entire class. The fact is, there's just one last thing that I need you to do before you go on your merry old way into summer. I hope that you get a good summer. I hope it works out. But what you're going to do is we are required by Riverland to complete a paired assessment. And what that means is that all the different schools across, southern Minnesota that do this course with us, all those schools have to complete the same type of assessment. And what we do is we just gather together all these schools, they do that same assessment, and we kind of look at it and see how everybody did. This is not graded other than by completion. If you do it, I'll give you full credit. But you don't have to, I will not mark you right or wrong. You will mark yourself right or wrong. You can use your notes. I have a formula sheet. And so what you'll do is just open up the formula sheet. Open up the test. It's multiple choice. 10 problems. And then the 11th problem is a free response. And it's scored from a scale of 0 to 5. After you take the test, your multiple choice and stuff like that, go ahead and check the answer key. And just, mark which ones you got right and wrong and how many points you get on the very last free response question there. And then finally, there's a Google form where you record your answers. So you'll let me know, did you get problem 1 right, problem 3 right, 2 wrong, 4 wrong, so on and so forth, and how many points you get for that last one. Last thing I need is I need at least 3 students to take a picture and send your work to me. So one thing that the college would like us to do is have a sample of student work. So, please, if you could just, 3 people, I just need 3 people, and you can even take your name off of it. You can rip your name off and just take pictures. We don't even need to know who did it. We just need samples of student work. As long as you can do that, you should be good to go. I just want you guys to know that I very much enjoyed having you guys this year. It's been a joy and an honor for me, especially you seniors. I'm going to miss you guys a lot. I really hope we get a chance to be able to connect again. Stay in touch as you head off into college. If you guys have questions about classes for next year, especially you seniors, reach out to me. I'll try to give you some guidance. A few of you have already. You juniors, some of you, you're not taking calc, which that's fine if you decide not to. Our math numbers are pretty high for next year. I think we have about 32 kids currently signed up for calc. This past year we had 24. I think we're going to have close to 80 kids sign up for pre-calc. This past year we had 56. So we have a lot of people taking math, but I'd love to have more. Just enjoy the time. And I really hope that we get to see each other soon. So take care. Stay positive. It's a great day to be a Tiger. Go be great.